Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Alright, we're good? Yes. Top, middle, bottom? No. Okay, let's see where it goes. This is Sagittarius. Okay. Got like a spiral feel going on here, which... Okay, that's where this is gonna go. All right, so you got like a spiral feel here. When I'm feeling spiral, it's like you're dealing with things around you. You're dealing with people around you. My first thought is you're not happy about something, and you have a dedicated feel to the situation. You've got the Page of Pentacles here. Like you're dedicated, and you seem to be doing what's necessary. But the page is kind of like pages. I see all four of them as more follower energy, kind of like what are we doing? Where are we going? Supporting the situation. You're very steadfast in the situation, and I'm getting here. You've got the Nine of Pentacles in the center with the Moon card, and you've got the Wisdom card reaching kind of up towards that Page of Pentacles, which is telling me I don't see you really enjoying the situation. And I see you questioning, like, am I really, like, is it really, like, is this just pointless? Like one of those feelings. Like, should I even really be doing this? Does it even really matter? Like, why am I doing this? And you keep going forward, and you keep forcing yourself to keep doing it. But you're questioning, like, is this really, like, I don't like this. Like, I feel that, like, I don't like this. I don't enjoy this. Do I really need to do this? Do I have other options? But you seem to be holding it together, kind of like, well, for now, I need to just keep going with it, because it's kind of like I need to keep perpetuating the situation for now because it's serving me in other ways for now until I make a decision or look at this a little differently or give it more time to figure out what I really want. I'm going to just keep it going because it just seems like if I just sit here and don't do anything with it, that just seems worse to me. So I'll keep going with it for now because it just seems like if I walk away or if I just let it fall, I feel like I'm going to have worse problems. Now, you have options is what I'm getting. Oh, okay. We'll go to this. There's three options. There are three options to this situation. Three options to handle it. Okay. Well, we have outcome over there that's face down, so they're not letting me see that. But one of the things is to just accept it for what it is. You got the Six of Swords, but it's reversed, which is telling me kind of like letting go of the thought of walking away. Just accepting it for what it is and just kind of like I'm here, I'm knee deep in this muddy swamp, I might as well just sit in it. I mean, what does it matter? If I'm up to my knees or I'm up to my butt, who cares? I might as well just sit here and just enjoy it or accept it. And there's the Four of Swords with it too, kind of like just defiantly sticking with it. Accepting the energy you have to deal with here. There's some, I don't know if that's you or somebody else, this one, to tell you the truth. There's a defiant energy, just kind of like this is how it is and not bending, not breaking. Feel just like it's very rigid to me. And then you got the Abundance card with it saying what you've gotten up to this point, you'll continue to get. You'll continue to get the same outcome. That's what I'm feeling with abundance. Like whatever you're getting from this situation, you'll continue to get the same. You know what's coming forward. It's nothing shocking is what I'm getting. You know what to expect, and that's the abundance. It's almost like abundance is also kind of taunting a little bit here in the sense of like all that energy is staying. Like you're going to get a lot more of that energy. This giving up energy, this just not feeling good, this stubborn energy, a lot more of that. A lot more of displeased. Like abundance, like you can have a lot of like Like horse manure, you could have an abundant amount of horse manure that's still in abundance. And I feel like that's what they're saying with the abundance here. You're going to have a lot more of this dissatisfaction if you go that route and just accept it for what it is. If you accept it like this is a crap situation, I'm just stuck in it, you're going to get more of that energy. It's going to feel worse is what I'm getting. So like I feel like that's the trick with this abundance card, because I knew it was kind of taunting. Because like that's a good point though. You can have an abundant amount of horse manure. Woo! What are you going to do with that? Go around and, sell it to people so they can soil their seeds. Put it on their fields. Like, I guess you could do something with it, but do you want to? Do you want to be a crap peddler? Do you want to get a wagon and drag it from place to place? That sounds like quite the life. And ironically, I'm sure some people do that. I'm just kind of like, what is going on with that? All right, let's let that go. That's one option. Now, this one is tricky because this has got some weird stuff. You got release. You do have release yourself from this situation. That is an option. What comes with it is the Justice card. Kind of like there will be a balance to this. And then you got the Five of Swords, which is telling me it's a fruitless win. You could leave this situation. You could completely release yourself from this, but Justice with the Five of Swords is telling me you'll end up in another situation that's the same thing. Something is happening here that's karmic. Something is happening here that you need to figure out why it's happening. And I feel like they're saying, if you walk away from this, you do have that option. But Justice with the Five of Swords is saying you'll just find another situation to repeat the same things, because I feel like it's something you're drawn to. You'll be drawn back into another situation like this. Could be a few years down the road, but you'll find yourself right back in the same situation, back in the same car, back in the same back in the same room, whatever you want to say. And you're going to be like, here I go again. And that's how it's going to feel. It's like, here we go again. So they're saying you can eject from this and go on to something else, but you'll end up coming back to the same type of situation. Maybe different people, maybe different venue, but the exact same things will be playing out. You're going to feel the exact same way you feel now. You got a third option. Oh boy, and I feel like this is what they're steering you towards. Stand up and fight. In the sense of like, fight for the way it should be. Fight for what you want. Get out there and really like, now what does this mean? Because like they're saying accepting it for what it is and just being like, well, this is what it is. That's not going to work. Walking away from it and going a different direction, that doesn't seem like that's going to work. They're saying stand your ground and say what you don't say. Point out what you don't like. Handle the situation. Face it head on. Go right towards it and deal with it. Because I'm getting like, if you stick with the situation, it's just going to drain you down to the part where you, like if you go this first route where you just kind of like accept it for where it is and you just give up that there's a way out, and you end up in this situation that just feels very unhappy, very stubborn, you don't like it, it's not really changing. Sooner or later, that will end up in release in one form or another, and you'll end up having to come back and do this in a different situation. You'll have to do it again. So if you choose this first one, it's a drawn-out way to get to the release option, is what I'm getting. And you will release from it, but you will also come right back and do it again in a different venue or with different people, whatever. So they're saying that first option is not really the best, because you're going to end up slingshotting over to the release. And you're just going to, if you go to the release, you're going to end up coming around and repeating it again in a different way. Different people, possibly. And we know the release one, obviously, you release from this, you come back, you do it again later. That's just, we've said that 50,000 times. So they're saying if you don't like either of those options, which I'm thinking if I was you, yeah, I wouldn't like either of those options. The only way to get around it is to go head on, face forward, go into it and deal with it. Go face forward right into it. Face forward, I keep saying. I feel like that's saying you're going face forward into like the water. Because like when I'm feeling face forward into the water, like it's cold water and it's scary and it's just kind of like it's a shock to the system. But they're like, once you get into it, you'll be fine. Just jump in face first. That's not the way to dive. Like you're supposed to put your hands out in front of you, but I'm getting face first because that's how it feels. It's scary like that. jumping face first into the water. They're saying if you don't want to go one of these other routes that are just going to end up repeating this situation, you got to go face first right towards it. You got to go right towards it. If you go right towards it, that's this. Surrender, and then you get new beginnings. Ooh, yes. Okay. I like that better. I honestly feel like you just got to face it. Go right towards it, deal with what's going on, call it out for what it is. That's like the face first. Like, it feels like it's scary. It's kind of like when I think of somebody diving face first, which I know that's a certain type of dive or whatever. It, like, from what I remember as a kid, like, I was always taught you put your hands out in front of you. That way, if you hit something, your hands will take the blow instead of your face. You know, if you hit a rock or something is there, your hands will feel it before your head will feel it. So I feel like that's the nervousness with that. But they're saying if you just go into it, because you're almost like going into it blind a little bit. Get right into it, you face it, you call it out for what it is. This is what's happening, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I can live with, this is what I can't live with. When you do that, you have to surrender a little bit to the situation. Flat out just calling it out is going to cause some situations, or certain things have to be handled by other people, and I feel like that's very unnerving. That might be why this is so hard, because you realize you can call it out for what it is, but a degree of that, and it's up to your situation what that degree is. A degree of that is in other people's hands, and I don't feel like you like that. I can respect that all day, every day, because I wouldn't like it either. But there's a bit of surrender here. Like, all right, I'm going to call this out for what it is, and then it leaves me on shaky ground. It's almost like it leaves you on pins and needles. Like, yeah, now that I called it out, now what? I've said what I don't like. I've addressed it. I've gone right towards it and said this is what's happening and this is what I can't stand for. And then you're in this spot where you have to see what happens next. From there, that's how you're going to end this pattern. Because you're drawn to something about these situations. For the majority of you, and probably almost all of you, who come to this, you can look back in your life and see where this type of situation keeps happening. Like if you keep ending up dealing with somebody who's yelling at you, like you have a deal. Right now you're dealing with somebody who's constantly harping at you and barking at you and making your life difficult because they're always barking orders at you or barking this at you or barking that at you. You can look back at your life where this has happened multiple times, where you've had to deal with people like this multiple times. Or something along those lines. I think people get it. If that's hitting with you, you know what I'm talking about. It's like something that keeps repeating. Like if you come across like whiners, people who whine a lot. And this last one is like they whine, and you try to pacify them and try to keep them happy and blah, blah, blah. But you realize like me supporting them, this just makes this worse. But you can look back and be like, constantly in my life, I constantly have whiners and I'm constantly trying to take care of them. I'm constantly trying to help them. And they're just sucking the life out of me. Something like that. Because what they're saying is by addressing, like, this is the problem. Like, I can't deal with this whining crap anymore. Somebody else take care of them. Or I can't deal with this person barking orders at me anymore. It makes things very tense and I screw things up because I'm on edge and this is no way to live. Whatever it is, and it definitely can be something completely different than either of those examples. You're addressing it and saying, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't want to accept this as a way of life anymore. I don't want to accept that that's how things go. Now, you got new beginnings here, right there. You address it, and I do see something changes with this situation. Now, this is the kicker with this. Depending on how strong you came at it, is going to diminish the power when it comes back. It will come back again, because it is a pattern. But the trick is, learning that dealing with it head on has changed the situation, means it's gonna be that much less you're gonna tolerate it. So if it's for example somebody barking orders at you constantly, you finally go to the right person and say, I can't deal with this person anymore. That has to stop. And so you do something and it alleviates the energy for a while, but then either that person or somebody else starts barking at you again. If this is going the right way, the time period where you allow that should be shorter. And you're starting to call that out right out the bat, or you're calling it out sooner. Because I'm getting whatever the energy is, for example, using that somebody barking at you, it's going to evolve to the point where somebody starts barking at you and you bark right back at them and you shut them down. That's where this is supposed to evolve to. Like, whatever you're doing to handle this now, that should be the immediate response. When somebody starts this bad behavior towards you, that should be your immediate response. For example, somebody barking orders at you. It happens again down the road. You maybe take it for a few days and you're like, all right, I got to fix this. I can't live with this. Then, time passes and it happens again. And you decide, you know what? No, I'm not doing this anymore. As soon as that person barks at you, you either bark back at them and shut them down, or you get the appropriate person to shut them down. Because you're no longer going to tolerate it. And that's what this is trying to get you to. Like, this behavior, you can't tolerate it anymore. And they're saying what you're doing now to shut it down, this needs to evolve to this is your immediate reaction, like to handle it right off the bat, whatever that means. You know what I mean? Like, somebody barking at you, if they're barking orders at you, that's not to be tolerated. And you're going to have to, this is what it's taking for you to face it now. But down the road, you're going to have to, people are going to do this to you. But you have to have the ability to step up to it and say, no, right off the bat. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to shut this down right off the bat. We're not going to let it go anywhere. We're not going to give it a chance. We're shutting it down at square one. And that's where this is trying to get you to. That's the new beginning. You got to surrender to some degree of control to other people, yes. But the new beginning is you saying, I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not just going to let it happen. That's where you're trying to evolve to. I hope that makes sense. Because I'm seeing that surrender there, and I don't want to negate that out. Because I get, when you're calling this out, you are surrendering some of the outcome to other people, yes. But the new beginning is saying, even though you have to surrender some of that outcome to someone else, the new beginning is saying you're not tolerating the situation any longer. You're not tolerating that attitude from anybody any longer. Are we good? All right, I'm going to shut that down here. I think we're good. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.